22X here, and we're bringing out to the Ray Draft League. We're on week 4, entering into week 5, and boy, did we get some upset. Let's talk about last week rankings, or well, standings. As of previously week 4, well, actually, as of week 3, at the end of the week 3, we ended up getting Mawa Merkers first, San Diego Palkia second. The Drampas, the Wildfish, 3 and 4 respectively, and Johnny, the fifth. So this top 5, they're except for Johnny, they are mostly undefeated, keeping pretty much very similar scores. But as I mentioned, all Wildfish did suffer their first loss. I believe San Diego also had a loss, but because of schedule formulas and the way we still don't have enough data, the rankings work in the favor of the San Diego Palkia. Anyway, meanwhile, in the battle of the 6-10, I believe a lot of these players have been moving back and forth, and I can tell you they move again for this incoming week. Unfortunately, on the bottom side, except for one, it's staying pretty similar. I believe a couple mistakes are making some of this team not be able to get out of the bottom part. But we're just on week 4. If you end up winning the rest of the matches, there's still a high chance to do it. Because as I mentioned, the way the league works is that you don't play everyone. And so that's why strength of a schedule is part of the formula of how we rank these players. So if something seems odd, or the numbers look similar but the differential looks different, but still this player is higher than the other one, it's usually because of the schedule strength. But anyway, enough of these top game rankings. This is last week's stuff. We want to see this game that we're gonna commentate, and I will have Grayson D Wolf be coming commentary with me. Our next match is gonna be between Alolan Aegislash and KJ. So we haven't seen much of KJ. We did see Alolan Aegislash POB last week, but I wanted to showcase this particular match because we haven't seen much about KJ. And while we have a limited amount of capture cards of these players that can play show, this is the match we think probably will be worth showcasing a new showcasing a new player. So stay tuned.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grayson DeWolf, joined by Izzy, and we are bringing you week 4 of the Ray Draft League. We have an exciting match of KJ versus Sven. Really excited to get into this match today.
Absolutely. We did feature Sven last week versus, I believe, Diamond, but we got a new challenger for Sven, and KJ just trying to come back. So right now the scores are, both of them have 1 win. Yeah, both of them have 1 win, so both of them trying to get a spot on playoffs. I believe Sven has on the higher chance of making it right now, as because of scheduling and showing their opponent. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, as you see these teams here, super fun pulls for both players, I think. The Klefki and also the Pheromosa, really, with Bronzong and a Tornadus, so much support and speed options. I think of Speed Swap and Trick Room and of course, Tailwind. And also that Glacier would absolutely love to have both the Speed Swap or a Trick Room. So I think that might be a big focus of the team. As we look over here on Sven's side, we see a Lapras and a Raichu, a very strong pair to open up with. Just Dynamax, get up some screens, and also do some big damage if you're able to do it. But also there's some fun picks over here too. I love the Umbreon with leftovers, probably a very bulky wall making Pokemon, as well as a very offensive Choice Scarf Kartana. I think this is going to be a really exciting match. Gothitelle could also potentially put some pressure on whatever speed first turn speed options that are happening with a fake out onto a Tailwind or a Trick Room or even a Speed Swap, and might be able to set Trick Room or reverse it themselves as well, which makes for an exciting game of just trying to find the right speed for both teams.
Absolutely. And one of the things is that anything could happen with the supports on the other side. Formosa could be coaching and Speed Swap the Glacier, really crazy stuff. And we are gonna see Formosa and Glacier from KJ's side.
Ooh, yeah, this Pheromosa and Glacier is going to be able to go for potentially a Speed Swap and make that Glacier potentially the fastest thing on the field. Raichu probably has the option for a fake out if they choose to, which would maybe put thwart the plans over on KJ's side. This Lapras also has a choice. I don't see any reason why Lapras wouldn't feel the need to Dynamax right away and maybe just go for trying to get some damage on the Pheromosa, who's known for not being the most bulky Pokemon, and potentially getting some damage down on a Glacier or a Switch-In wouldn't be that bad either.
Absolutely, and right now it looks like Sven won't be going for the Dynamax, instead doubling into the Pheromosa, which I agree. A lot of the times the Pheromosa does have the sash, so it can be able to do, in this case, as I mentioned, potentially a speed swat or a coaching. I'm leaning into the coaching just because Lapras shouldn't be that fast, and what is Lapras gonna hit the either of those ones? So I wouldn't be worried about it. So yeah.
We do see a Protect potentially reading into doubling into this, or maybe just anticipating a fake out at the very least. But this Dynamax last year has the option of maybe going for a Max Hailstorm into the Raichu, bring it down to its sash, and then with a 1 HP left, take it down, or just go for a Max Quake. But no, we see a Max Knuckle come out going into this Raichu. Oh my word, that brings it all the way down to what I would imagine to be the Focus Sash. I can't believe that brought it all the way down the Focus Sash. That is a offensive Glacier, and is now even more offensive with that Max Knuckle boost. And unfortunately, Sven didn't get anything done that turn.
Yeah, and one thing to note out, it is a Life 4 Glacier. So it's not only a +1, but it's a Life 4. And I do think that they maybe didn't do Max Hellstone because Pheromosa has the sash. They didn't want to break their own sash. However, I kind of get what KJ is doing. KJ is just going to ignore the Lapras, which is usually what most people do, and just focus on the other ones because Lapras is so tanky that once is in max, it's very hard to break.
Absolutely. Something that I don't see on Raichu a whole lot, but is really exciting here. I hope this Raichu is able to get it off before getting attacked, but this Charm going into this Glacier would certainly slow down this early lead that KJ has secured for themselves. We do see Lapras recognizing the threat and needing to get up some screens, maybe put some damage down on that Pheromosa, who is protected the previous turn, so I would imagine some damage into there is pretty free here. The Glacier is also known for being pretty tanky as well. So with a +1 close combat, Pheromosa brings Lapras all the way down to 90 HP. That is massive. Defense falling, and Charm does get into Glacier in time, beating that Glacier's now a -1 attack with Life Orb, so it'll still be doing a decent amount of damage. But with this G-Max Resonance going to the Pheromosa, now all of a sudden this Lapras is going to be much harder to deal with.
Yeah, now not only is Glacier gonna be the last thing to move, right? If you went for a Max Knuckle, you did get a +1, and you do have Life Orb, but now there's Bail and actually also the Charm happening. So that Lapras gets to survive another turn since the Steel Spike goes into Raichu, and I mean I don't see the benefit of the Steel Spike. I will have probably I get eliminating the Raichu, mind you, but. I mean, at least you get your Chilling Rain back. And I think this puts you back on neutral because Charge is -2. So, and you had a +1 Knuckle and then the Chilling Rain. So it's back to neutral. So this is actually really good.
Yeah, that Max Steel Spike was kind of interesting. I almost wonder if they were maybe anticipating a switch-in for the Raichu. But regardless, getting some defense options for maybe anticipating a Kartana in the back and just trying to get some defense stats up on the Pokemon ASAP kind of makes sense here. But Gothitelle switches in. We're able to see what kind of moves this Gothitelle has at its disposal. This Lapras is in a very interesting position because it has kind of done its job. It set up the screens. It got Pheromosa down to its sash, but now Lapras is kind of at the whim of maybe one attack going into it from this Pheromosa, and it'll probably go down. So we'll have to see what this Gothitelle goes for. If it's going to just spam Hypnosis and hope for the best, or maybe there's going to be some more strategy to it. We'll have to see.
Yeah, and if the Hypnosis gets hit, I think it's pretty clutch. But looks like Sven is gonna just go with the classic. I'm gonna fake out.
And the classic fake out protect.
Yep, the classic, and I don't mind. I think this is pretty good. It is your last turn of Dynamax, so be very interested in what KJ might be doing with his Glacier.
Absolutely. This is an interesting move here to me, just because if you had targeted down the Pheromosa with the Lapras, obviously that's might be a little scary move to make just because the Pheromosa was likely faster and would be going for that close combat in there. But if you had the fake out pressure on the Pheromosa, you had clicked fake out, I would imagine that your Lapras would be pretty free to target that slot. But we do see that the Max Hailstorm is just going to get rid of it anyways from KJ's side, leading us to see whatever the third Pokemon on KJ's side will be.
I'm a little confused about like KJ doing that because you practically lost your fastest Pokemon in the board, and why didn't you just simply not fake? Like, why did you protect? Like, I don't understand the protect in this case if you were anticipating the fake out. Spence have very weak Pokemons now, but uh, this looks weird. I will say that.
Yeah,
much.
it's an awkward board state for everyone. I think that there might have been the chance that they were okay with the Pheromosa going down just so they can get Bronzong in, and instead of going for fast mode, maybe just going for a straight Trick Room here. But we do see that you could Hypnosis the Bronzong, try to put it to sleep before Trick Room goes up. But we do see the target for the Glastrier instead, which I guess makes more sense as well. Hypnosis goes off, and it looks like it is going to miss, unfortunately. About 60% accurate without Wide Lens, so that will happen a good amount of the time. We see Max Geyser going in, doing more than I thought, actually, to this Bronzong, bringing it just past 50%, but getting the rain up, removing that hail chip from everyone. That is not an ice type. And we do see an Icicle Crash coming through. That should quite easily take out this Gothitelle, and I would imagine we're going to see a, oh, no, thanks to the screens from earlier, that is not going to be taking anyone out. And instead of a Trick Room, a Meteor Beam coming off of this Bronzong. I can't believe it. Is it holding a power-up herb? Is it going to be able to fire off? And sure enough, what a massive reveal, and what a unique set to have on a Bronzong. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, whoa. I mean, I'm glad he hit his move. I'm still scared because Sven is just gonna keep hitting the Hypnosis, and then, I mean, I'm hoping to see an ally switch. Well, actually, no, an ally switch wouldn't be good. I think Sven probably, what's gonna happen here? Like, I think you need a TR more. I think you need a TR last turn, but it's 2v3. Gothitelle is almost dead, and Gothi legit just has to hit Hypnosis to win.
Yes. Yeah. If Trick Room had gone up, this Bronzong will be moving first and might be able to start doing some iron defenses and just get some defense up. We do know that they have the Pokemon advantage. They do have, it's 3-2 still, and we don't know what is that fourth Pokemon in the back either. But this Kartana certainly has a lot of pressure on both of these Mons right now. They see the ally switch probably trying to catch a Smart Strike going into that slot, but a Sacred Sword instead going into there. That is certainly going to be enough to pick up the Bronzong. If that was predicted or not, we guess we won't know. But we do see Kartana's Beast Boost come off, making this a very formidable force in Trick Room. And oh, the Hypnosis hits the Glastrier, putting it to sleep. And all of a sudden, this Kartana is looking like an unstoppable piece for the end game.
Absolutely. I think the ally switch, I get what it is, and I feel like what's red. I mean, when you have the speed advantage here, that ally switch is not gonna benefit you because I think Sven already kind of felt like ally switch might could be coming in, and then the last one reveal is Tornadus.
Tornadus being revealed at the end here is very interesting, especially paired with the Glastrier. Even if the Glastrier was awake, it'd be very. I would imagine that under Tailwind, Glastrier can outspeed Kartana if it is a max speed Glastrier. But even then, I think Kartana might be able to survive anything from the Glastrier just because the defense stat on Kartana is pretty decent, and so you'd be able to fire back with the Smart Strike into Glastrier. So I do think that there's going to have to be an adjustment for game 2 from KJ's side, just because this Kartana.
Wait. Sven is decided. Why is Sven doing that?
What is this happening?
Sven is not that bad, and Sven actually decides to just forfeit the fight. Okay, I don't know
why.
Sven, if you're watching this, I absolutely need to know why didn't you just keep trying? I'm not gonna lie, that made absolutely no sense to me because there was still a chance. Like you were.
I am so confused. I think you're in if not a winning state, a very neutral state. The Tailwind on that Tornadus or even a Hurricane I don't think nothing could have happened that turn where the Kartana would have gone down. The Kartana could have just smart striked easily into that Glacier spot. It hadn't even taken its turn of sleep yet. So you have a free smart strike into the Glacier, would probably knock it out. And that I wonder if they were worried that the Tornadus hurricaning into Kartana would automatically knock it out.
It
We
depends
do have to
because,
remember it's choice scarfed, so
yeah.
maybe and they had locked into Sacred Sword.
Yeah.
So there is a chance that they did not feel like they had a way of knocking out the Tornadas because Sacred Sword would take forever. Okay, that makes more sense. We have to remember that it's a Scarf Kartana, but still, I'm so surprised that they gave in that soon.
I will have just gone with Hypnosis.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Gothitelle is a win condition. But,
But yeah, it's very unfortunate. I would have liked to see it instead of Sven just trying to, unless he was trying to hide the fact that he was Scarf.
That is true. That is absolutely true because there's no situation where you would click Sacred Sword in that position unless you are a choiced item. And I think that was a very smart choice if you are trying to preserve information because if you're very confident that you're not going to win that setup, I suppose it makes sense because that way you can get your opponent playing differently, and with the choice scarf you might be able to outspeed them game 2 when they didn't anticipate it. But we do see an adjustment despite this. We do see a Klefki on the side and a Centiskorch over here on Sven's side. Looks like it might be a very different game.
Yeah, and honestly, I like the adjustment that Sven did. Centiskorch, knowing that Glacier is probably the one Pokemon that is gonna cause the most trouble for him, and actually double targeting the Klefki. I like this because let's not touch the Glacier. You know it's Life Orb, you know it's gonna do damage, but it's not gonna hurt you that much. So and we actually got to see that it's weakness policy. So I think this turn 1, get rid of the Klefki because the Klefki is probably potentially very problematic. Prankster, you don't want to give the other opponent screens this time. So really like the adjustment from Sven.
Yeah, we see him go for the offense right away, Dynamang the Centiskorch, probably a G-Max one nonetheless. I'm interested to know if this Glacier over on KJ side is going to be Dynamaxing this turn and just going in for damage and trying to bulk up, or like we saw in game 1, get that attack stat rolling. We'll have to see. I would imagine that this is a lot of pressure coming out from the Centiskorch, though. A max fire move would do insane damage over onto this Glacier, and we'll have to see. It's not weakness policy, so there's pretty much no downside of targeting into that later game. We do see Dynamax, and I'm curious to know if it targets into the Centiskorch, how much it does to the Centiskorch. We saw that just a max knuckle with the Life Orb is enough to bring it this Raichu down to Sash, but what a phenomenal read over here from Sven, and a misplay probably from KJ by max guarding when it was not needed. This Klefki's going to be going down, I would imagine, to this, and all of a sudden now Sven has so much pressure onto this Glacier that you lost your supportive Mon and didn't get to do anything, and that chip damage has already begun to chip away at the Glacier.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I get why KJ did it because normally people would target the Glacier, right? But at the same time, I just realized that KG has 3 Mons very weak against Centiskorch.
Yeah. Yes. And I don't think there's anything against charming the Glacier and just firing off another fire move into this Bronzong. Bronzongs can carry protect, but it's not always there. I feel like you're pretty safe to just fire off a fire move into this Bronzong and just start chipping away at the support Pokemon and let the Glacier do whatever you want it to do. We do see that they're potentially reading into a defensive max guard here, maybe worried about the pressure of the Glacier's damage output. We did see how much damage it can do, so left alone it could be a problem, but I don't know. Sometimes it's nice just to let the Glacier go out of Dynamax and take care of it when it's baby form, but we'll see. This Charm comes out, it's going to bring it down to -2 attack, making it hit like a wet noodle for better or less. And a max Hailstorm is going to come off. Let's see how much this does into a Raichu. It is stab, and it's still doing so much damage. Is that a critical hit? No, it was not a critical hit. Even at -2, that Raichu was able to be brought down to its sash. That is insane. That Hail Chip is going to chip away and bring that Raichu down in the end of this turn. But a Meteor Beam is coming out. Maybe anticipating this Meteor Beam going into the Center Scorch, and now is for the Max Guard. We'll have to see if it's going in. It does get the boost from the Power Herb, and we're going to have to see if it connects here or if it misses. It does connect, but of course it's protected, so it does not matter. Raichu's going to go down to the Hail, and we're going to see what the third Pokemon in the back for Sven is.
Yeah, I think I get why. I don't know. The- I don't know if the Max Guard was needed from Sven, and now I feel like you're slightly in an awkward position losing Raichu like that because Raichu was free. I believe we saw a. I'm pretty sure we saw a Max move into Raichu and like that took him also to Sash in the previous game. So ah
Yeah, Neutral Max Knuckle brought it all the
yeah,
way down
yeah.
to Sash with Life Orb. But I'm still a little shocked that a -2 attack last year was able to bring it down to Sash still. But that just kind of goes to show how much of a tank this last year is. But I still would think that -2 charm, Raichu's kind of done its job. It's left its mark on the last year. It's going to slow it down for everyone. But a Perish Song is coming out from this Lapras, making everyone on this current field faint within 3 turns if they don't switch out. We do see the Fire attack going into the Bronzong, and sure enough, yeah, it's enough to take it out. I'm kind of shocked we didn't see that move just a turn earlier, but that is gone now. We see a Max Knuckle as this Glastrier is going to attempt to do whatever it can to get some of that attacking stat back in its favor, and now it's at -1. But unfortunately, with that Bronzong going down, there's not going to be an opportunity for that Glastrier to switch out anymore. I think we're down to KJ's final 2 over there, and so not only is this Glastrier going to be going down in 3 turns, but also it is stuck at -1 until it takes a knockout on Sven's side.
Yeah, and I mean, it could. Lapras probably is gonna protect or go away, and then, yeah, it looks like Pheromosa is the last one. And again, an odd one to have in the bag. No,
For sure.
just because
Especially with the Hail Chip going down, we know it's probably Sash. So that Sash is going to not be useful at all in this game, unfortunately. But the Center Scorch, I think, being the fastest one on the field minus Pheromosa. I wonder if Pheromosa has a move that can knock out the Center Scorch, or potentially being able to stop it from firing off anything. But we do see a feint come out, maybe anticipating a protect. As we see a Hydro Pump come here, it is going to connect. Let's see how much this does into Pheromosa. Pheromosa is known for not being the strongest of fellows, and is down to its Sash once again. We'll be going down with this Hail. That Perish Song might not even come to play this game at the rate these knockouts are happening. Double up into Pheromosa, just making sure that in case it did survive not on Sash from that Hydro Pump, it would be going down. I like that a lot, as this Glastrier is left to face the rest of Sven's team with a superpower going off into Lapras. An interesting trade-off. You get to lower your attack and defense, but with the Chilling Neigh, it's going to make it neutral. So still a -1 Glastrier going off against Sven's side, but at this point, he's just got to wait 2 turns or so and let this Glastrier go down to Perish Song, and I think the win is pretty much confirmed for Sven here.
I want to say that the Glastrier actually is neutral because it did remove the Raichu and it got a Chilling Rain last turn, so it's actually
Yes.
neutral
Sorry,
now.
you're right.
No problem. This is a little weird because I almost said the Perish Song. Sven doesn't have to wait, but because if he had to wait, he loses. If he had like mistime if he was a 2 Pokemon, because actually Glacier was the slowest in the field, so he will have fainted the last, because that's how Perish Song sounds like the last one.
Sure.
But I mean, it doesn't matter. Kartana was in the back. It's just smart strikes, and doesn't hides the fact that he's Scarf.
Yes, that has been very impressive that Sven has been able to hide the fact that it's Scarf. I wonder, so we haven't really seen an interaction yet where the Scarf has been revealed or used in a way where it's like, you have a choice Scarf. Okay, gotta adjust for that. So interesting to see what the adjustments are in game 3, because we might see that speed interaction play with a Tailwind Glastrier, and we'll see that Scarf Kartana be able to outspeed it anyways, and that would be a crazy way to win in game 3. That those moments that I always look forward to in getting a game 3 set in VGC. So hopefully get a fun moment. But so far, I've been really loving these Pokemon. The team that KJ has is very specific, and it's really fun looking at Sven's team as well, and just seeing how these weird pieces all work together.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, I think we saw this of Sven doing in the past, where he purposely, in the last game versus Diamond, he saved Perish Stone for the very end. For this one, he actually revealed it in game two, and I think in a part you had to like threaten it with a Perish Stone potentially, just because you wanted to scare them for a swap. But anyway, we get a Tornadoes and Pheromosa lead. Question mark a little versus a Raichu Scorch lead from Sven.
Yeah, I wonder if KJ was anticipating the same lead from game two, because Sven obviously had a great game two. I don't know why he wouldn't lead this again and just kind of expect this last year. So I think the goal here might be just to remove this Scorch as fast as possible, and then like last year, Dynamax in the late game at the end. Interested to see how that goes or how it works. With between Tornadus and Pheromosa, these are super fast Pokemon. And should be able to outspeed pretty much everything. This Raichu has some fake out pressure, though, of course, so it's kind of a game of trying to decide who's going to Dynamax, if there is going to be any Dynamax on KJ's side, who's going to protect, who's going to switch out. And sure enough, we do see the Pheromosa switch out, and we see a Glastrier come in, potentially baiting a free switch in for this Glastrier from the start, maybe? This is a super interesting play, but we do see that this Tornadus is Dynamaxing.
Yeah, so this is the part where I was hoping that the Tornadoes was more offensive, which will have made more sense for like just giving up, like forfeiting game one from Sven's side. But yeah, Tornadoes Dynamaxing makes the most sense in this case. It is a fly. A Score is a bug flying, so it is weak to flying moves, and Tornadoes actually hits hard.
Yeah, if Sven's Scorch is going to be able to survive a max airstream from the Tornadus, I'm not sure if it can, but if it can survive the max airstream, the weakness policy that we know is on that Scorch will get activated, which means that a ton of damage is going to be coming out to either of these Pokemon, whoever they target. We do see the max airstream come out. I'd imagine they're trying to deal with the Scorch for the rest of this game, and it does over half. But that max, that weakness policy is going to be getting activated here. And even though if this Tornadus is able to knock out the Scorch this following turn, as we are able to see that it does more than half, this Scorch is going to be able to fire off a ton of damage this turn, and might be enough to justify this turn one for Sven. We'll have to see how much this does to the Tornadus. That is doing quite a bit. I think that's a one-hit knockout on that Tornadus. And sure enough, oh my word, you're able to get a +1 speed on the Glastrier, but otherwise you're dealing with a weakness policy Scorch that is super effective against everything on KJ's side.
Absolutely, and I think that this is the risky part about Dynamaxing your Tornadoes. Tornadoes is super squishy, and now you have to face a almost full HP Scorch. You actually brought Bronzong, which again it's I think Bronzong is slower than the Scorch, pretty sure. So, and now that your weakness, now that your weakness policy got shown, that means that your Bronzong is gonna just die to this Scorch. And I mean, yeah, right, you could just charm or like you just bring a different Pokemon, but regardless, this is actually, I hate it because I personally hate losing turn one like that. I
Totally.
So it's very unfortunate for KJ, but it was amazing from Sven's side because, as I mentioned, he hit the fact that he was weakness policy Scorch this whole time.
Right, which is fantastic. I'm very curious about the switch this turn here. Maybe anticipating that it might protect or something, or really wanting to get a different Pokemon out. I'm not sure why you wouldn't just charm the Glastrier and then just get a KO on whoever you'd like with the Scorch. But now this whoever is able to survive this max in Centinferno, which would be the Glastrier, this Glastrier might have an opportunity to land a high horsepower into this Scorch and might be able to pick up the KO. I'm not sure. We do see an Icicle Crash come out is not enough, thankfully, for if you're a Sven. But interesting that there isn't a high horsepower in the Glastrier. Assuming there isn't one, there's also a chance that I don't know why you went high horsepower there, but we see Pheromosa coming back out on KJ's side. Now this should be the fastest thing on the field and might be able to take out the Scorch and make KJ get to a better state in this board game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is like I said, it's just game over. The moment, very rarely in BGC, when you're playing Dynamax, can you come back from losing Tremont. And again, this is what I'm talking about. You know, Fermosa could just do that to the Sentis Scourge. I don't know why Bronson was brought from KJ, because you needed to eliminate the Dynamax mon over there, and then hopefully it's very important that Glacier, unlike its Calyrex Ice, cannot learn Trick Room, because I think you also needed that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious what this Glacier is able to do. And we do
Oh
see
my.
a freeze come in for the Pheromosa. That might be huge, actually, depending on if it's able to thaw out or not in these following turns. As we see a Swords Dance come out from the Glacier. Oh my word, this is turning into be a very interesting endgame as we have Kartana. We know that, or Raichu will be coming in the back. Both of these Pokemon are faster than the Glacier, so depending on what you prioritize here, do you get rid of the Pheromosa quickly before it has a chance to unthaw itself? You could fake out right into that Pheromosa and just get rid of it, and then try to hope that Lapras is able to handle this Glacier. But this is really interesting just because this Glacier is a cannon right now. It does have low HP, but if you leave it alone and let it fire off some attacks, you might be able to see KJ coming back here. A super interesting and weird place to be at the end here. That freeze on the Pheromosa, though, is definitely brutal if you're KJ.
Absolutely, because there was a chance KJ could have protected here, could have just speed swap, like, but it really, and then again, this is what I mentioned. Like, very unfortunate that I didn't see the Formosa coming back when you lost your tornado, because Formosa was the fastest mon for KJ.
You see the superpower come out, so much damage. Being able to remove this Lapras in one hit knockouts, that is crazy. We do know that this Kartana is coming in the back. I think this Glacier still has a +1 speed to it. But
Doesn't matter.
unfortunately, doesn't matter. It's going down to the fire spin from Centiskorch, and that was a very captivating and fun game three. I think Sven always had it there just because that Kartana was in the back and was should be able to clean up most of those things with that choice scarf that we knew it had. But KJ still didn't, I don't think. And so, a very interesting game. KJ's team was so fascinating with all these different speed options to support the Glacier. But unfortunately, when you're facing down a Centiskorch, it's tough having a team that revolves around a Glacier.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just very unfortunate. We criticize Ben from just gaining, but I think the fact that he just was like, you know what, the chances of me winning this game one are not there. I rather just save all this information. Absolutely important for the next few games, and pretty much probably the reason why he ended up winning, because of that, like the fact that he kept hitting all these little things about his team, and KJ got caught off guard by it. It was really important. I like that. It's just very unfortunate. And I said, I think I think you should have brought the Pheromosa earlier and just try to do the Source Dam move when the Raichu got swap out and stuff, because Pheromosa was your fastest Pokemon at that point. But yeah, the freeze just felt like a ha 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 ha. And you already losing. Let me just freeze you just to make sure you absolutely it's so unfortunate. So my
Yeah.
condolence, KJ. But otherwise, that was amazing game from both of them.
Yeah,
Adjustments and stuff.
I think it might have been a much different game if that Tornadus was able to survive that +2 Scorch going into it, and if the one hit knockout didn't happen, if it did survive with enough to even have a turn two, I think there'd be a very much different game three. The Max Airstream might be able to have knocked out the Scorch that following turn. You might have been able to put more pressure on the supportive Pokemon. And so that one hit knockout was a big turning point, and I think that's when Sven knew, like, oh, this is game. I got this. And so really just a fun, well fought game with some weird interactions that neither player totally knew what was going to happen, and so really fun getting to watch this. And I hope that everyone viewing this also enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you guys everyone. On to next week. Bye. And boy, was
Goodbye.
that a good match. Anyway, now we're gonna be talking about our updated rankings. So I already switching things around. This is our new updated ranking, and as you can see, we actually have a couple being shuffling. Funnily enough, though, Johnny and Murkrows ended up battling this week. Johnny actually ended up beating the Mawile Murkrows 2-0. So keeping that, I don't know what happened in that match. I didn't get a chance to talk to the players yet, but boys, Johnny is just because of how Johnny started. Even though he has won the last 2 weeks, he still gets to stay on that 5th place. Funnily enough, I believe the next battle will probably potentially move him up or down, depending on where it goes. But Johnny, if you're listening, good job at staying there. And for the most part, I mean, top 5 hasn't moved much. Wildflash staying on 3rd. Pokézone actually moving up to 2nd. And then San Diego Palkia is our 1st seed currently. And as of right now, no one, I believe, let me double check. I think Pokézone, because of how the scheduling works, I believe Pokézone might actually be the only undefeated player, right? Pokézone. Oh no, actually Pokézone. So, unlike our previous season 1, not a single player, guys, not a single player is undefeated anymore. Ally was our last one, and he unfortunately suffered a defeat this week against Johnny. It's very, very unfortunate, but we can talk about potentially Sven looking into going the rest of the season undefeated, as he lost week 1 but is now 3-0 on the last 3 weeks. So he could be the next player we should be looking now, because everyone else has an awkward loss in either week 3 or week 4. Regardless, our top 4 hasn't changed much. Now, let's talk about 6 to 10. 6 to 10 actually saw some changes because of schedule stuff. And despite Sven's win, he does move. He probably is technically tied to 6, but he moves slightly to 7 because of strength schedules, and KD moving up. Oh, actually, let me try. KD actually is similar to Sven. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they're kind of tied, because KD also lost first week by being winning the next 3. So, and yeah, pretty much very similar score. I think the biggest difference was that on week 4, KD actually ended up 2-0ing his opponent, while Sven was at 2-1. So, main reason why that, but pretty cool about that. Then, from all the way from 13 to now 8th, the Neobark Loud Puppies had a slow start, but they have put themselves in the board for the playable spot, making that number 8th, pushing out Feisty Scrafties and batting to 9 and 10. Bat is gonna have a slightly harder battle coming ahead of her. Her schedule is not looking very fun. But if anyone can die, it is her, and I believe in you, Bat. Then Ducky, same deal. You can still bring it back. You just have to be careful in the next 4 weeks. Now, unfortunately, for our 11 to 14, things are looking very, very, very dicey. Diamond, with such a beautiful start, has fallen short, unfortunately, a few times. Diamond, I need you to start being more aggressive. Stop, like, you know, don't get too cutesy, okay? You top cut like a high roller. You can, come on. But hey, I believe in you guys. Anything could happen, and we'll see what else. Now, this is our schedule for next week. Prediction-wise, Mawile Murkrows should beat the Las Vegas Corbin Knights, for the fact alone that the Diamond hasn't been doing well. But maybe he's watching this video and be like, Izzy, I'm just gonna tell you that I'm gonna come back, and hey, that's fine with me. Neobark Puppy is gonna go with KD, and actually this match is also very important because both of them are right on playable spots. You know, we want to keep staying on playable spots, and both of them are coming back from a small losing streak. So hopefully I can figure out if they can stream, because that will be probably the stream match I kind of want to be commentating next. Next we have Feisty, Scrafty, and Jackie. Jackie having a little bit of a rough time in the league so far, but hey, everything could change. Everything can happen, and I hopefully like Ducky, you're my friend too. But I hope you guys have a wonderful match. Bad versus Johnny. Okay, so as I mentioned, Johnny hasn't moved for the last 2 weeks from the fifth spot. If Johnny loses, I'm pretty sure he drops down. And Bad gets you move in, maybe on 8th spot, depending on how matches go. So, but Johnny just needs to make sure not to lose too badly, I think. Bad definitely wants a win to get her playoff chances alive. Then, we have a very interesting match. Seed 1 versus Seed 7. San Diego Palkia versus Alolan AU Slash. As I mentioned, Sven, he's gonna try keeping the win just to like have a nice record. But San Diego Palkia, you know, I would say you want to keep winning as much as you want. So like maybe you relax a little in the last week. Being first seed is very, very nice right now. So, but anything could happen in the next 4 weeks. And then we have Alolan Rakuten versus Soul Support. I haven't seen what's gonna happen between these matches, but they're both great players, and I expect funny things out of them. And the next match that I wish this could be streamed, but unfortunately Joe K does not have a Switch and is playing purely on Showdown. However, the Battle of the Italians. That's all I'm gonna like. I'm the Battle of the Italians and friends. There, Joe K actually brought Pokestone into my league, and finally, the two friends are gonna fight, and it's gonna be fun. It's definitely gonna be fun, and I can't wait to see how this match goes. Anyway, guys, thank you again for watching, and until next time, bye!